Hey, good evening, everyone. Today was August 30th, 2025. It was Saturday. So last night I wrote 2 goals. They were shower and work at 11. And I've done one of them. Did go to work. So I also did a recovery video log for yesterday. And then I also uploaded video logs. I did 3 of them. And finished my uploads. So that's pretty good. Haven't really done much else. Read Dune. Did that. That was for fun. Acquire Roman. Yeah, that was pretty fun. So, okay. This morning, woke up. I'm going to share a dream I had. It was really interesting. I'm super excited to share it with my mom tomorrow. So, yeah, it was fun. So, I woke up and at like 6, right? And Skips was like poking my eye. Like, I was really laying there and I was just like he tapped both my eyes twice. So I get up and I go and I open the door to go let him downstairs so he can go eat, right? I go to the bathroom and I'm sitting there. Don't look at my pit stains, bro. Don't look. But I'm sitting there and I go to the bathroom and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had really interesting dreams. The only dream that I remember. Let me get some water. Now let me be clear. The only dream I remember for sure was a work dream, okay? So I'm at work and I get into like an altercation with a customer. Like we were like upset at each other, whatever. They leave. Random person. I don't know this person. I'm upset, right? Like I'm already in like a mood. Okay? So it took a couple phone orders, like regular orders, whatever. But thing calls in. On the call ID I see Kathleen Snowden. What kind of weird name is that? Pick up, yeah, whatever. You want to take an order? Cool. So she goes, yeah, name's Kathleen, phone number, whatever. She goes, can I get 2 sides of egg foo young? Yeah, sure. All right, I need a 2-item pork fried rice and sweet and sour ribs. Okay, good. So you won't give me any extra ribs? What do you, like, I literally, in the dream, I was just like, what do you mean I won't? And she was just like, you won't give me any extra ribs? I was just like, well, I mean, I could. I can just put it with the egg foo young, like in another 2-item. And she goes, oh, you can? Oh, yeah, do that. And I was like, yeah, no, don't bother coming in. And I literally said, F you, like the word F you, and hung up on her. What? Bro, I was crashing out over nothing. This is a nothing burger. Whatever. Like, in the dream, I did this. And so I was just like, walk away. I was like, so take a couple more phone orders, whatever. Go to pick one up. Yeah, well, this is us. Whatever. It's my mom. And she goes, Kyle, are you okay? And I was just like, yeah, I mean, it's been a rough day, but like, what's up? Oh my gosh, wife typing. She was like, are you okay? And I was just like, yeah, I mean, it's been a rough day, what's up? And she goes, check your phone. So I grab my phone. Ironic, it just buzzed. I check my phone, and it's on Do Not Disturb. Okay? So I take off Do Not Disturb. I have 4 missed calls from my mom, 2 missed calls from my Aunt Teresa. Okay, so I'm like, oh my god, family emergency, what happened? So call back my mom, and she goes, Kyle, Kathleen tried to order food. Kathleen? And she goes, yeah, your Aunt Kathleen, my sister. Bro. My mom's oldest sister called in and I cussed her out on the phone, bruh. In my dream, of course. Bro, I was horrified, dude. I was literally just like, no, you're lying. Trying to like calling her or whatever, and she's just like, no, it's cool. Like, I should have let you know it was me. And as I wake up, I'm peeing in real life, and I'm just like sitting there. Why'd she give me so much damn attitude on the phone? So you ain't gonna give me ribs? You've already ordered them. What? You ain't gonna give me more? I mean, I could, but I won't. Dude, it was crazy, bro. It was so wild. So yeah, that's how my morning started. So I was going to the bathroom at 6. Went back to bed till like 8:30 or so. Got up, played some Roblox, the prospecting update. It was Saturdays at 9. So did that. It was an interesting one. It was the museum update. It was kind of cool. And then Yeah, played that for about an hour, and then put my phone order in on Jersey Mike's through the app, and left at 10:30 to go pick it up. When I got to work, my boss was like, "Hey, before you get started, you can stay clocked in, whatever. Before you get started, can you call this place and get quotes for these repairs?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I just think I got scammed, so I just want to know like how much it is." So I get quotes, and they're accurate. Like it's about what he says it is. Let me double check that my space is doing okay. Okay, we're good. And I was just like, "Oh, okay, so whatever." So give him the numbers, whatever. And then after opening, a table of regulars comes in, just one table. So I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah, serve those guys." They're probably the only people in the restaurant for like 25 minutes. By the time they leave, probably like 30, 40 minutes later, right? I have 6 tables. Like 5 more tables have come in within a 10, 15 minute time span. I'm hauling, dude. It's a really fun lunch. Like I'm bussing. There was a couple times where it was like, it's really hard to explain to someone who doesn't work in food service if you don't work in food service. My mental thought is I have a consistently changing checklist of things I need to do. And it's greet this table, get these drinks, remember this order, put this order into, cash this person out, this person has a card out, the phone's ringing, and it's constant changing of like what I need to be doing and what the priority is, right? So if I'm kind of in between like two low priority tasks, like, a refill and someone's looking at a menu up front and they have a question or something, and the phone rings, I can take the phone order in full. But if I'm in the middle of like 2 or 3 high priority, like there's a table that needs greeted, they need drinks, and I have food up, I'll put them on hold, right? So it's like very quick, fast paced, like prioritization and like mental sifting, remembering small tasks. I think it's a really cool skill. I really like it. It's going to be hugely beneficial in the future. So, but yeah, I was like bussing for like an hour, hour and a half. Like I was almost on a silverware at one point. It was crazy. It was a really decent lunch rush. And but afterwards, I was just reading Dune, dude. I've been reading Heretics of Dune. Such a good book. Such a good book. And so, yeah, Ava got there around 4. It started picking up back around then. And I had a very low, like, table dinner turnout, I think. I think we all had 3 tables, so like 9 tables on a Friday evening. But phone orders were tipping. It was nice, dude. It was like $5, $5, $5, 5. They were throwing them out there. Thank you, you're heroes. I love you all. And then after that, yeah, it was like work was dead after 8. And then Ava had Gabe and Tobie come in and bring Roman so they could like leave him with Ava so she could just bring him home. And then he'd been having a rough behavior night on the way to like Canton. He was like crashing out or nothing, and he's being dramatic, right? And they're like, "Hey Roman, stop being dramatic," and he's like, "Okay," and they're like, "Why are you in trouble?" And he goes, "Well, because I was being dramatic," and it's just like, dude, you're being dramatic now, like you're still being dramatic. It was really funny, and then yeah, he was crashing out over nothing, and then I ordered some Romans and pot stickers and pork fried rice to go, sent to home with those, and then finished up closing. And as I'm getting in the car, I'm about to text Anna like, "Hey, I'm on the way home," and then she calls me, and I hear Roman crying in the background. And she's like, "Dude, bro is not having fun." And I was just like, "This kid." So I stop at McDonald's, get Ava her food, and come home. And Roman's still struggling. Like, he doesn't want to go to bed. He's just, like, being all attitudey. And I basically was just like, "Okay, Roman, here's what we're going to do." And I, like, told Ava, I was like, "I'm going to take him for a walk." Just a walk. Like, it's 11:45, 11:30. I'm going to take him for a walk. She was just like, "I don't know, like, don't do this, blah, 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 this. And I was like, "Yeah, I respect all that. I won't do any of that. I'm going to take him for a walk." And so we walked down to a local park. And before we go, he's, 7. He's being a kid. He just goes to, like, and he, like, slapped himself. And I just, like, grabbed his arm and was like, "Don't hit my son. I'm serious. Don't hit my son. That's not cool. Don't hit my son." Like, real serious, right? So we go for a walk, and we have, like, a really good conversation. We're talking about respect. We're talking about controlling our emotions. And I was like, "Roman, can you think of a time where I've been letting my emotions control me?" And he was like, "Yeah, you grabbed my arm and yelled at me." And I was like, "But I wasn't controlled by my emotions." It's like, I was in control. And I was like, I was emotional. It does make me angry that you'd hurt yourself like that. Like, but I wasn't doing that just out of anger. I was like, I knew that if I did it forcefully, you'd stop. And he was like, yeah, no, totally, I get it. So I told him this story that my cousin told me. And I was like, this is the Egyptian teacher, Bryson Stout. My cousin's name is Bryson. And we talked about it, but I basically went through the story of like, this teacher tells his students, hey, break the rules. And he's like, there's one rule today, don't talk. And so after a couple minutes, students, he goes, at first he's like, hey guys, just want to remind you, don't stop, don't talk, whatever. They break the rules again. He's like, hey guys, please respect the rules, don't talk to each other. Another kid, guys, come on, it's distracting the other students, be respectful, don't talk. And then at the end of the story, the quietest girl in class who never talks, even when the rule is work with your partner, she's super quiet. She leans over and whispers something, and the teacher freaks out, starts yelling and pointing. Go to the office, go to the principal's office. You're gonna go get out, leave now. You broke the rules, leave. Screaming, right? So the lady leaves, goes to the principal's office. Principal's in on it. He knows the lesson. He sends her right back and was like, "You're fine. You were told to break the rules. It's okay." And so at the end of the class, the rest of the class goes on, and at the end of the class, teacher goes, we have a couple minutes left, and I want to talk to you guys. And he goes, I don't know how many of you noticed, but after I yelled and sent Mehdi out, after that, no one spoke for 25 minutes. And he was like, you will experience this many times in your life. Someone will tell you calmly, hey, don't do this. And you will hear that and go, they told me calmly, it's not that important to them. They don't feel that many emotions about it. And then you will decide it is more important to do that thing. So you will go to do it. Then when they are upset at you, you will be surprised. And he goes, once I yelled at you, I didn't tell you to stop breaking the rules. You knew the rule was no talking to each other. Once it was brutally enforced, once it was forcefully enforced, you respected it, even when you received direct instructions not to. And he goes, that's a lesson you all need to learn, is when someone tells you something the first time, it's safer to listen. If you want to get yelled at, if you want to learn it the hard way, you can. But people usually choose the easy way first. And we were talking with Roman about it, of, like when he's walking funny and I'm sitting there going, Roman, walk normal, walk normal. And then I yell at him and I'm, Roman, walk normal. I've told you this many times. And I was like, do you see the lesson? And he goes, yeah. And I come home and water my plants and stuff and go upstairs, and he's laying all funny in the bed. And it was like, I told him to do that, to lay down, or else I do this. And I told him to lay down, or I put on a scary movie. And he goes, I actually want the scary movie. And I was like, Roman, do you remember the lesson? I was like, are you waiting for her to yell at you before you get in bed and make you upset and sad and mad? And he was like, oh no. And he lays back down, and I was like, yeah, man, that's respect. Like, and I think that my daily thought is about like the parenting. I wrote parenting struggles, but I'm gonna write parenting dynamics with kids. Parenting dynamics with kids. So I talked also about the 3 different types of respect. So authoritative respect. I respect you as an authority. You're my teacher, you're my mentor, you're my parent, you're my father, whatever. There's human respect. I respect you as a human. I'm not going to enter your space or step on your toes, right? Like, I'm going to respect you. I'm not going to steal your stuff. And then there's, it's goes by different names. The golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated, mutual respect. But I always heard it as like respect. And it's like the re is like it's given back, right? And so it's, I would treat you the same way I'd want to be treated in your situation. And I think about that a lot, of like, especially with Roman, is like, how would I want to be treated if I was a 7-year-old? And it's like, with what I know to be right, when I exhibit behaviors, how would I want those behaviors to be corrected? And, my dad was really good about it, and seeing how my behaviors affected those around me. And I thought of a quote today of, he taught me humility at the time of greatest importance, and that is in victory. He taught me to be humble in victory, because that's when it's really important. anyone can be humble in defeat. You know, anyone can be kind when they're the loser. Anyone can shake a hand. But the victors are the ones who really, really need to be kind. Because where there's a winner, there's always a loser. You know? And so it's like thinking about how I need to treat Roman to be the best kid he can be, you know? And it's not easy. It's hard. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed spending time with him tonight. It was really, really cool. It was really fun. And, you know, I was being relatively serious. And I'm not a very serious guy. You know, but I was really focused on the task at hand. And I was just like, Roman, like, when you act these ways, it makes other people feel. Like, how you act affects how other people feel. And you need to be aware of that. And you need to change how you act to accommodate for others' feelings, because when they feel bad, you'll feel worse. That's who you are. And I did a test on him, and I was just like, raise your hand. He goes, and I was like, now do an action. And he was just like, and I was like, so that tells me two things. This tells me you're high energy. This tells me you're optimistic. You can tell a lot about someone by doing action, right? If they don't do an action, they're indecisive. If they do this, they're optimistic. If they do this, they're energetic. If they do this, it's just they're pessimistic. Like, and if they do something, like, there's a billion different ways you can tell about someone based on what action they choose. And I'm just like, you are going to care about what other people think. You need to think about how other people think when you're acting. And it was really, really good to have that moment with him. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. So I'm glad to share it with you all. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.